There's almost never an easily identifiable source of truth when it comes to hiring. Finance tends to have their own version of the hiring plan. Talent also tends to have their own version of the hiring plan. Department leaders and hiring managers might be tracking hiring separately. And because all of these versions of the plan are kept in spreadsheets, and because of the nature of spreadsheets, the fact they have to be manually updated, it is quite hard to understand and to know which version of the plan has the most accurate, up-to-date information. So little changes, little up levels or start date changes can fall through the cracks, especially if there isn't a centralized approval process. Which brings me to my next point, which is that usually there isn't a single centralized approval process for budget impacting changes. Oftentimes, if a role does need to be updated, if an internal transfer is occurring or something else is going on with the plan that does or will impact the budget, there usually isn't a process by which the right people get eyes on that change. And therefore, sometimes the changes aren't approved at all, but they'll happen anyway. And that kind of spend can very quickly spiral out of control. In TeamOhana, we do have a centralized approval desk for any budget impacting change that's going to occur. Whether it's a new hire request or a change request, there is a very specific process by which a preset group of people are reviewing and either approving or denying the request before it goes live and is added to the hiring plan. The other thing we do is we have audit trails all over the platform. So when changes do occur, they're very clearly tracked. You can see who made the change, what the change was, and when it occurred. So you can always easily retrace your steps and revert changes if you have to do that. I want to first show you our centralized approval desk or approval flow. And what I'm going to do is submit a request for a new sustaining engineer in my CS support department. They'll be an IC2 and they'll be based in the US. And once I've selected these inputs here, I can scroll down and see it's a new hire, it'll be full-time, and here's my compensation band and midpoint. Once I click select, I can review my information and see the impact this request will have on the CS support department if it gets approved. But most importantly, I can see the 3 approvers who will be looking at, reviewing, and either approving or denying this request, again, before it makes it to the hiring plan. So it does have to make it through all 3 of these folks before it goes live. I will request approval. You can see my request was successfully submitted. And then again, there's that approval chain. And I'll be able to follow this request along as it moves through these 3 folks. Once Ravi approves it, his circle will turn green, and then I'll see that it's next sitting with Tushar. I also want to show you, so that role is pending approval. For a role that's already approved and on the plan, you can see this one here is approved. I do have this history tab, which shows, again, all the changes that have occurred to this role. So I can see 10 months ago, Ravi set the opening for this role to TOH 69. I can see that, let's see one more recent, 2 days ago, Anirudh changed the offer from Evelyn Hansen to none. So anytime an update occurs, whether it's to the hiring process, whether it's to the role itself, the basic details, the compensation, what have you, I can easily track those changes on the history tab. I no longer have to question, when was this role changed from a IC2 to an IC3? When was this role pushed from July 1st to August 1st? All that information is tracked here for you. And again, you can rest assured that anytime a change is requested, it will only go live if it is approved by all of the approvers. So you'll no longer have to worry about having any unapproved headcount spend at your company whatsoever.